times. Stayed in touch with both these girls. A couple more times we tried to start her over outside the brothel. Each time she went back because of that need for meth. I thought that she was going to end up dying of AIDS in the brothel. But partly because of the work of aid organizations, partly because the U.S. government, actually particularly under Hillary Clinton, was putting a lot of pressure on the Cambodian government to clean up its act. And partly because of the work of journalists writing about this kind of thing, then the Cambodian government began to feel under some pressure. And it wasn't as if they closed down these brothels. This brothel remained open. But the police began to demand more in bribes to look the other way. Now, this trafficker is just a businesswoman. She can make a little bit more money kidnapping these girls and selling them than she can stealing motorcycles or selling pirated videos. And as the police began to demand more in bribes, then this totally ruined her business model. So she ended up closing the brothel and turning it into a grocery store. The girls were then released, and Saray Mom ended up marrying a policeman who had been one of her regular customers at the brothel. I think part of the thinking there was that if you were a meth addict in rural Cambodia and you want a steady supply of meth, then a policeman is going to be a good source. So, this is not an ideal solution. There is no kind of retributive justice for all the terrible things this trafficker did. But at the end of the day, that brothel owner is out of business. She's no longer kidnapping these girls. These girls are out. And in the same way, I really think that 100 years from now, there will still be prostitution, but there doesn't have to be a system, either in Cambodia or in Portland, where you have 14 to 15-year-old girls being trafficked by that woman or by pimps right here in Portland. There are mechanisms to make a real difference. And indeed, let me say something about the U.S., because as Cheryl and I began to report more about conditions abroad, we became increasingly aware that we have a real problem right here at home in the U.S. And I think there's a misperception sometimes that the problem in the U.S. with trafficking is just to have foreign women smuggled into the U.S. And that is a real part of it. That happens all the time, especially Latino women and Asian women. But I'd say the bigger part of the problem is homegrown American girls. And typically what happens is it's this girl who grows up in a tough neighborhood. She may have a bad relationship with her mom. Maybe her mom's boyfriend starts hitting on her at age 13, and she runs away to the bus station, and only people on the lookout for girls like that, there are the pimps. And the officer has a shoulder to cry on, buys her a meal, gives her a place to crash. She feels loved for the first few days, and then he's holding a gun to her head, warning her if she ever tries to run away, he's going to blow her head off. And he's having her sleep with however many customers a day, and all the money goes to him, not to the girl. There's a misperception out there that the pimps and these girls are business partners. They are not business partners whatsoever. This is a young woman named Alyssa, who was from Boston, and her story was pretty typical. Her mom was a drug addict. Her dad was an alcoholic, wasn't much around. She ran away from home she was 15, turning 16, and Pimp found her. Briefly, she felt a certain amount of hope, and then he started selling her. I guess you can't really see here, but on her left cheek, she's got a scar where the pimp took a potato peeler to her and gouged her cheek as a warning of what would happen to her if she ever tried to run away. She did run, He caught her and stomped her and broke her ribs, but she then testified against him and sent him to prison for trafficking.